Are you interested in a type of food that can keep you from being hungry for 7 days with just one bite? There are many types of food, but there are 3 kinds that are particularly special. These aren't foods you'd normally think of, but they can save lives. The first one is called Jihuangwan Rescue Famine Pill. It's said that eating just one can keep you from being hungry for 7 days. The recipe is very simple, with only 3 ingredients that are quite humble. Many people know that elm money seeds can be eaten, but not many realize that the bark of elm trees can also be consumed. The bark contains a lot of starch. In times of famine, people would strip off the elm bark, dry it, and grind it into powder. This powder could then be used to cook porridge or mix with noodles. Although it doesn't taste very good, it can fill your stomach. The second ingredient is called white grass root of Baimyogen. This is actually the root of wild grass that grows by the roadside, and it has a slightly sweet taste. It's a familiar plant to many children from rural areas because it contains sugar and people used to chew on it like a snack. During famines, whitegrass root became an important life-saving resource. Nowadays, many people like to boil it with dried ingredients to make tea. The third ingredient is clay, specifically a type of white clay known as Guanyin clay. This white clay is essentially just white mud with no nutritional value, and in fact, consuming too much of it can harm the body. But during times of severe famine, when even tree bark and wild grass were eaten, people had no choice but to eat clay. Because this clay was abundant, it was regarded as a gift from Guanyin and thus called Guanyin clay. However, it is indigestible, and the feeling of being full is just an illusion. According to folklore, when elm bark, whitegrass root, and Guanyin clay are ground into powder and mixed together, they form Jihuangwan. This pill was said to stave off hunger and save lives during famines. In the movie Back to 1942, which depicts the Great Famine in Henan in 1942, Jihuangwan is shown as a kind of irony. If such a thing really worked, then no one in China should have starved from the Qin dynasty onwards. Our ancestors, however, faced natural disasters without mercy. When confronted with starvation, tree bark, wild grass roots, and clay, things that should never have been used as food became symbols of hope for survival. Next, I'll tell you about another kind of emergency food supply, which can be considered an invisible food reserve. This is called Shoshan Liang, and it was invented during the Ming and Qing dynasties to prevent food shortages caused by war. It is considered the oldest form of compressed military ration. The preparation method for Shoshan Liang is also quite unique. During times without war, soldiers would take the leftover pieces of beef from feasts, boil them thoroughly, and then mix them with glutinous rice and coarse salt to form a thick paste. This paste was then pressed into specialized wooden molds and dried in a ventilated place. Once dried, these beef bricks could be stored for a long time, in times of peace. When water and other basic supplies were scarce, soldiers discovered that these bricks, which were originally made to strengthen walls, could also be consumed. The bricks could be broken down into small pieces, which when boiled with water would form a nourishing porridge. This invention was a testament to the wisdom of the ancients, ensuring that soldiers had food even during long marches. The last kind of food is called Xingjundan, said to have been created by the famous strategist Zhuge Liang. It was made with expensive and rare ingredients like ox bile, musk, pearl. During the battles with Meng Huo, Zhuge Liang developed Xingjundan to combat the extreme heat and disease that plagued his troops. This pill could prevent soldiers from falling ill due to the harsh conditions, allowing them to stay healthy even in difficult times. If Shoshan Liang was the logistical support for an army, then Xingjundan was its lifeline, from Jihuangwan to Shoshan Liang, and finally to Xingjundan. These may seem like outdated or useless concepts, but they teach us important lessons. To cherish peace, to value foresight, and to appreciate the wisdom of our ancestors.